You know what? So now you've broken it down nicely.
Yeah.
Right? You've broken it down nicely. And then in terms of the categories, I've learned that one, guys. Guys, just because I start the show, I told you, when I bring the guests, I'm not just doing it for you. Also, now I'm here to peep game. We don't know everything, right? We learn from each other, right? So already, man, there's things I'm learning, right? So now you've got this circle of yours.
Yes.
Ne? The categories, you have your 120, your 12, your 3, your family, everything is sorted. Now, we know, man, that, when you're chasing success, you have to be locked in to avoid distractions and all those things. And success in that way, it can be costly.
Yeah.
I'll give you just a simple example, right? I had to sacrifice the nightlife, for example, the one that you were delving on, okay? Yeah. I had to sacrifice that to understand, this is where I'm going, right? The other thing, I work in Saudi. Yeah. I left my wife and kids at home in South Africa. That's a sacrifice and a big one too. Absolutely. So a sacrifice is a trade. Yeah. It's an exchange. You have to give up something that you love, right? So whether it's time with your loved ones or whatever. So my question to you is, when on your side, right, up to this point, what has success cost you? Has it cost you maybe your old friendships? Maybe you had friends that were not aligned, that fell out of these categories you just broke down and all those things. What has success cost you?
Bro, it cost me everything, bro. In a nutshell, it cost me everything. Just the other day, we were launching our broker, and my dad came and he said something very powerful. He says, back home, he tells people he no longer has a son.
Wait, okay.
Right?
Just go back again.
Because so my pastor, my spiritual covering who was there, so what my dad was saying, we've let go of this son because we know he has become a son to somebody else. So right now at home, I'm a visitor. Because my life has been given to something else. You know what I mean? So that means I've lost time with my family. They understand.
The
I think that the best thing for them is because them being pastors, they understand that, I've left them because I'm going back to my greater love, which is Jesus. Right? It's gonna cost me that. Right?
Which is your purpose.
Yes, which is my purpose. Funds, money. I mean, a popular story that people know in trading. I lost my mom's pension in one day.
In
one
use
day.
Your mom's pension.
My mom's. Yeah. I took it to trade. In one day, it was gone. Right. Relationships, as you're saying, I'm not friends with any of the guys that I grew up with. We're no longer friends. My day ones. We no longer. Your name, your reputation. You die to self, bro. Money, we've lost a lot of money throughout the journey, bro. You know what I mean? So time with family, time with my kids. I only see my kids literally. I don't spend enough time with them as I would love to. Currently, you know what I mean?
Okay, where are they based?
They're based around, but because of the busyness of life, there's as you saying, you had to move to another country and live them. You know what I mean? So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you're like, this thing costs a lot. It costs everything,
and you have to be willing. Yeah?
You have to be willing to make the sacrifice. It's a scam to want out of life what you're not willing to give.
Sure.
If you're not willing to give everything, you can't expect everything from life. Your success will always be direct in proportion to what you are sacrificing.
I always tell them your reward is equal to your sacrifice.
Absolutely. So it costs. In a nutshell, it costs everything.
But it's worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jesus says, you won't know what I'm doing now, but one day you'll understand. Man.
And that's exactly what happened with me in the podcast, man. Yeah. When I started this podcast, it was out of gratitude. Yeah. And I always tell my viewers that, you know what, only now when I look in hindsight that I understand. Even though it was painful. Yeah. Going through what I had to go through, losing my mom and all those things, whatever I went through, right? I've shared everything in the early episodes. But everything makes sense.
Absolutely.
If I don't go through those things, this podcast is not born. We're not here if I don't go through that. Because everything now I'm talking about, what I'm sharing now, because it's about my life story also. We are talking about our life.
Absolutely.
It's because of those experiences, that adversity. And I always try to teach people, don't look now at adversity as a curse. It seems like Utiko, if we going by the stats, if we're using the data from the oldies until now, it seems like for you to get the glory, what you want, everyone must go through this adversity.
Absolutely.
It seems like there's no other way.
There's no crown without the cross.
For him to be King of Kings, he had to be on that cross.
There's no crown without the cross.
Nah.
There isn't.
Sure, bro.
There is no crown without the cross. If you're not willing, that's why Jesus says, carry your cross daily and follow me. Carry your burden. You have to face your Goliath, because your Goliath is a stepping stone to your crown. You know, if you look at a Goliath as a problem, it will be a problem. But if you look at it as an opportunity.
So look at problems as opportunities for you to. There's always a lesson also.
Absolutely.
Right?